A desperate plea, a final breath, and a fate sealed decades ago. When Jessie Dean Hoffman Jr. forced a young woman to kneel at gunpoint, he made a choice that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Now, nearly 30 years later, the state of Louisiana is preparing to make its own choice, one that will end his. But this execution is unlike any the state has ever seen. And it's already sparking controversy. On a cold November night in 1996, Mary Elliot, a 28-year-old advertising executive, walked to her car in a downtown New Orleans parking garage, just as she had countless times before. But this night was different. Lurking in the shadows was 18-year-old Jessie Dean Hoffman Jr., a valet at the garage who was about to make a horrific choice that would alter lives forever. Hoffman, armed with a gun, forced Elliot into her own vehicle and ordered her to drive. Stopping at an ATM, he made her withdraw $200 before instructing her to continue the journey to a secluded area in St. Tammany Parish. There, in the darkness, he assaulted her. And when it was over, he marched her to a patch of dirt near the Middle Pearl River. At gunpoint, he forced her to kneel. Then, in a cold and calculated move, he pulled the trigger. 2 days later, on Thanksgiving morning, a duck hunter stumbled upon her lifeless, abandoned body. Meanwhile, Hoffman's actions left behind a trail of evidence. A couple found her discarded clothing and ATM receipts, and surveillance footage captured the last moments of her life. Standing beside the man who would end it. The police moved quickly. When confronted, Hoffman initially denied everything, crafting a series of conflicting stories. First, he blamed an unknown gunman. Then, he claimed the gun accidentally fired during a struggle. But the truth was inescapable. The jury saw through his lies, and in 1998, Hoffman was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. Years passed, and appeals followed, but the courts upheld his sentence. On April 11, 2000, the Louisiana Supreme Court dismissed Hoffman's appeal. On May 12, 2014, the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rejected Hoffman's appeal. On January 20, 2015, Hoffman's final appeal and petition for a writ of certiorari was denied by the U.S. Supreme Court. On October 19, 2021, the Louisiana Supreme Court rejected another appeal from Hoffman. In the appeal, Hoffman alleged in his grounds of appeal that the validity of his conviction was breached by racial discrimination. Given that the jury that convicted him consisted of all 12 white jurors, and that his age of 18 made it manifestly excessive for him to receive a death sentence. The court rejected his claims of racial bias and also found that there was no tangible evidence of any consensus against executing people under the age of 21, and dismissed his other points of appeal as well. In 2012, Hoffman, alongside other death row inmates, filed lawsuits challenging Louisiana's lethal injection methods. But when lethal injection became impossible due to drug shortages, the state turned to a new method, nitrogen hypoxia. In February 2025, Louisiana officials announced that executions would resume. Hoffman was among the first scheduled to die. His execution, set for March 18, 2025, would be Louisiana's first in 15 years and the first in state history using nitrogen gas. As the date neared, Hoffman's legal team fought back. They argued that nitrogen hypoxia was untested, that it violated the Constitution's ban on cruel and unusual punishment, and that it contradicted Hoffman's Buddhist beliefs, which emphasized breath control and meditation. They claimed that the method would cause psychological torment for a man with PTSD and claustrophobia, conditions stemming from an abusive childhood. The state pushed forward. Officials pointed to Alabama, which had already carried out executions using nitrogen hypoxia without reported complications. Hoffman's lawyers insisted he was being used as a test case, but their final appeals were swiftly denied. On March 11, 2025, U.S. District Court Judge Shelley Dick issued a preliminary injunction, halting Hoffman's execution. The judge agreed with Hoffman's lawyers that the nitrogen hypoxia method could constitute cruel and unusual punishment, potentially causing torture. This decision delays the execution until a full trial can assess the method's constitutionality. Now, the future of Hoffman's execution remains uncertain. The state plans to appeal the injunction, but for now, Jessie Dean Hoffman Jr.'s fate hangs in the balance, nearly 3 decades after the tragic death of Mary Elliot. Thank you for watching. If you found this case intriguing, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more chilling true crime stories. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.